Hello, and welcome to NMSI's third workshop series. Today we will be covering job interviews. So let's start off with the chat text box. In the chat, please note down your name, first and last, email address, your school that you are currently attending, and your major. This is important because we will be following up once this presentation is over and sending you more information or just PowerPoint in general. And then make sure that your mic is on mute throughout the PowerPoint presentation. However, if you do have a question, feel free to ask at any time and unmute yourself. And before you ask, just briefly introduce yourself so that way we can get a feel for your background and how we can better help you. Okay, so here's a quick overview of what the presentation is going to look like. So we're going to briefly introduce the NMSI team who's presenting in this PowerPoint today, and key points for an interview, the purpose of an interview, and then different types of themes of questions an interviewer might ask, tips we have for interviews, and then NMSI's contact information. So let's meet the NMSI team. First, we have Luis Alonso Garcia. He is the Migrant Student Services Director, which falls under the National Migrant Scholars Internship Initiative Director. We have Sam Velez. She is the NMSI Associate Director. There's her contact information. And then we have me, Yasmine Gomez. I'm the NMSI Administrative Assistant. I handle all student support services. So professional development is one of the main things I cover and help with. So if you ever have any questions regarding student professional development or any tips for resumes, interviews, cover letters, I'm your go-to person for that. So there's my contact information. And then at the end, I'll show you NMSI's general contact information that makes sure that the whole NMSI team receives your communication. Okay, so let's start. So how do you even prepare for an interview, right? So you get the call and they're asking, hey, we'd love to set up an interview. When are you available? And you get that set, so you already have it scheduled. What's next? So this PowerPoint presentation is going to go over the three main things we ensure that you look after and ensure that you are taking notes on or preparing for your interview. So one is that you want to make sure your research is up to date for the company that you're interviewing for. We want to make sure that your resume is all set to go. They have already looked at your resume, so let's focus on how you talk about your resume at the interview. And then your skills. This is where you're going to be able to elaborate on your skills, on your background information. So we'll go into more detail about what each one of those covers. So what's the purpose of an interview? So the purpose of an interview is for you to exchange information. It's for you to get to know your possible employer, and vice versa. It's a chance for them to get to know who you are. And then from that interview, your employer will evaluate your ability to do the job. So just from you talking about your skills, your abilities, that's how they are able to pick up on, hey, is this person going to be able to do what we're asking them to do? And then at the same time, an interview is a perfect chance for you to get to know, is this position going to let me grow as a professional? Am I going to learn something from this position? It's your chance to know how well this position fits what you're interested in. Okay, so now when we say research, what exactly does researching a company mean? So you want to look for companies that share the same values as you. You want to make sure, hey, who is this company networking with? What are their values? What is their slogan? What do they believe in? Who do they fund? Or the whole backstory to what makes the company what they are today. So you want to see how they operate. You want to catch up on research. I mean, is there bad, negative news media on them? Or is there positive news media on them? And you just really want to make sure you're researching different resources. And then if you have people who already work for that company, it wouldn't hurt to go ask them, like, hey, what's the working environment like over there? It's also a perfect chance for you to ask them, as an employee, what do you think about the company, or how is it operating? So when researching a company, to sum it up, you want to just make sure that this company really fits what you're looking for. Okay, and then your resume. So you got the interview, chances are they already saw your resume. So going into this interview is just a way for you to talk more about your resume. Resume is only one page, so they just see what's on there. But for example, like on here, they'll see that, hey, they work at a blueberry packaging facility. Like, oh, that's a unique experience. So can you elaborate more on that? And that's where you can go into detail about who you are, your background, or the reason you're there interviewing now. And really, your resume, it's just a chance for you to talk more on it or elaborate more on it and tie in like from your past previous experiences as to why that's going to help the job you're applying for. And then it's important that when you're going into an interview, make sure you print out a few extra copies of your resume, especially if you have updated it from the last time you submitted it to them. That way, when you're talking about these jobs, they can look down at your resume and, oh, okay, I see that on here. So tip, take your resume with you. And once you're at the interview, just distribute it to them. So now we're going to be talking about skills. So they see your skills on your resume, right? But this is the time that you elaborate on that. This is a time where you list soft skills and hard skills. So they see the hard skills that you have on your resume, right? But now it's tying those soft skills that you're able to elaborate on, that you're able to talk more about. So I think some of these words up here is what interviewers want to see. So instead of just being like, I'm good at communicating, or I have leadership skills, I can be a leader, you connect this back to your resume, and this is where you talk more about, I'm a good communicator because working at the blueberry packaging factory, it allowed me to communicate with the higher ups, it allowed me to communicate with my fellow co-workers, and communication was key to succeeding. And that's how you share that experience. Or when you want to talk about teamwork. So I'm a team player. I'm good at like working with a team. You want to elaborate and tie that into your resume. Why do you call yourself a good team player? Well, as a cashier at Walmart, I was able to work with a team and meet a goal because of the way that I was able to elaborate with my teammates or work all together to succeed one common goal. Any questions on skills and why that's so important in an interview? Okay, moving forward, but to sum up skills, this is your chance to tell a story. This is your chance to tell them why you have these skill sets, because when employers are interviewing you, they want to see what you bring to the team. So for you to be able to talk about what you bring is a perfect chance for them to hear your story about it, for you to elaborate on it. Yeah, they saw your one-page resume, but it's also good to just give them more. What you weren't able to put on your resume. So now we're going to go into different themes of like interview questions. So these circles right here are just different themes, and then we'll go into what each question entails or what it's going to be talking about. So the different themes you can see at an interview are like opening questions, credential questions, experience, opinion, and your company research. So now, let's start off with opening questions. So an interview, like I said, right from the beginning, they want to know who you are. They want to know who's applying to the job. They want to know who their future coworker is going to be. So that's the whole point of an interview, right? So when it comes to tell me about yourself, many times I've sat on interviews myself, and when we ask students, tell me about yourself, they basically, their name, school they attend, and like one fun fact, right? But when it comes down to tell me about yourself, it's more than just that. That stuff I could have gotten from reading your resume. So if you're coming in for an interview, I want to hear your background. I want to hear who are you? Like besides your resume, let's sit down and talk. We're humans. Like you're trying to get to know me, I'm trying to get to know you. So when it comes to tell me about yourself, okay, my name is so and so, and growing up, I worked in the fields, or just elaborating more on who you are. Don't read off your resume like, oh yeah, this is who I am. Like, this is where I attend school, and so and so. Leave that reading. They already read through that. So really, just elaborate more on who you are, and um, yeah, your future career goals, or feel free to talk about anything. If they're taking the time to interview you, they want to get to hear your story. And then you want to focus on your experience and skills. So this is where you tie it back to how you're going to be a perfect fit for that position you're applying for. And another thing to keep in mind is your agricultural skills. That is what's going to make you stand out. That is what makes you unique. And we'll talk more about this in the next slide. So you want to make sure you connect your agricultural background to the position you're applying for. So you might ask yourself, why is that so important? That's important because talking about your agricultural background ties in so much into the position you could possibly be applying to. So hardworking is a big one. Many times, you talking about working from sunrise to sunset, that tells people how hardworking you are. That tells people um, how you were able to do this work for whatever period of time. And it's intense work. Not everyone has this background, so that's what makes it so unique. And then, for example, if you're migrating from Texas to California, that shows that you're mobile. That shows employers that you're willing to travel for work, that you're willing to take on opportunities, even if it's not within the same city you're living in. You want to talk about how fast you're able to adapt to a new environment. If someone tells me that they had agricultural background, that they were relocating to chase the seasonal crops, and how they were able to adapt from like a new environment. So for the example, from Texas to California, right? They're able to adapt and take on like the whole new lifestyle basically. And that's what makes your agricultural background so unique. As mentioned in the resume workshop, that's something you want to add on your resume. So on your resume, you have it listed down under the experience tab, and you have maybe 2, 3, 4 bullet points on it, but this is your chance to elaborate more on it. Some of us have been doing it for 10 plus years, right? From early ages. And basically that makes you who you are. That as a camp scholar, you could talk about how your background on that is why you're where you're at today. And yeah, if you have any questions on your agriculture background, or you're not sure how to tie it in, please reach out, because this will really make you a unique candidate. And this is what people are looking for. That story alone tells me so much about you. For example, hardworking, that you're able to adapt to new environments, that you're willing to work long, fast hours, that you work in a fast-paced environment. It tells so much beyond just your background. So then we're stepping into the credential questions. Here is where the interviewer is trying to place some kind of measurement on your background. And it's important to be honest about your credentials. So if they were to ask, well, how long were you working at, let's say, Walmart cashier position? You don't want to lie and talk about, oh, I've been there forever. Like, yes, I've been there for 3+ years when you were only there for a summer. The last thing you want to do at your interview is oversell the reality of yourself. And you also don't want to lie to your future employer. That's just you starting off on a bad note. So be realistic when it comes to them asking these kinds of questions. And then some other questions you might see is, well, how well did you do in your major classes? So let's say you're applying for an internship having to do with nursing, and they ask you, well, how did you do in certain like nursing classes that are specific to what they're looking for? And I mean, just being honest, right? Either you did really good, or even if you didn't do the best in that class, just talking about your passion for it, how you're trying to make it better, how you want to get hands-on experience to make up for the classes you didn't do so well in. So one thing to remember with your credential questions is be real. Give them the truth, and if something might not sound as good, just make sure to back it up and letting them know that you're working towards making it better. So now the experience questions. From them looking at your resume, this is how they're coming up with these questions. So these are the questions that relate to your experience and allow an interviewer to evaluate your background. So when you're interviewing for an internship or full-time position or any other kind of job experience, and they've asked you, let's say you're applying for like a front desk receptionist, and they ask you, have you ever done any of this work? Like, if so, for how long? Once again, being realistic on it, right? But this is their time to ask, basically, what experience do you have working prior in that same field? And then them just getting to know, like, oh, okay, have you taken classes like towards this internship position, right? So if you're going into a business internship, right, they want to see if you've taken at least like maybe some general business courses or know what you're getting yourself into. And now, opinion questions. So this is when the interviewer is trying to analyze how you would react in certain situations. So things come up at the workplace, right? And this interviewer is just trying to see, okay, how would this person react under pressure? How would this person react in this certain case? And yeah, that's what an interviewer wants to know. Imagine if your supervisor, everyone above you is out for the day and something comes up that's an emergency. They want to see if you're able to handle that or what your precautions would be on handling that certain situation. So when you're asked, what would you do in a certain situation? Be honest and going with, this is what I do, or this is, I'm backing it up with your previous work experience. So if you ever, let's say they're asking, what would you do in this kind of situation? And you can relate it back to your position at Target, for example. You want to talk about how you were able to react in that position. So giving yourself some credit for, hey, this is how I would react because this has maybe happened or something similar has happened where I had to work under pressure or in a certain situation. Like, I've done it, I've handled it. Okay. And the biggest one that was mentioned before, the company research questions. So this is where an interviewer wants to know if you did your work, if you did your homework, right? Before stepping into this interview, did you even check out the employer's Facebook or their website, most importantly? This is where they kind of want to gain knowledge if you did that homework. So for example, the biggest question, why do you want to work here, right? Let's say you're a business student and you're applying to a Chase Bank internship, right? And they're asking you, why do you want to work here? Why not go work at your other local bank or at Fifth Third Bank, right? They want to see what research you were able to pull to make Chase the one you want to go work for. So they might ask you, what interests you here at Chase Bank versus somewhere else? And when you do your research, you're able to pull up facts. You're able to, oh, well, I see Chase donates so-and-so to this organization that I strongly stand for, or I see your mission statement and it really hits close to home. For example, when applying to CoBank, it might be, I have an agricultural background, so I rely, or your mission statement hits really close to home. So this is where doing your research prior is going to help you a lot, and employers will know if you did your research. So now, some tips when you're going into your interview. So first things first is you want to arrive early and appear relaxed and organized. So get yourself together before even stepping into the room or before stepping into where you're going to go interview. Just take a deep breath, pull it together, right? In the case where you are running late, let's say accidents happened or if you're walking and you were delayed a few minutes, right? Give the interviewer a call or give the company a call. If you don't know who you're interviewing with, call the company and say, hey, I have an interview at 5 p.m. However, it's 4:55 and there's a train going by and I might not make it. You want to let the interviewer know. However, you do want to be prepared. So if your interviewer is at 5 and you know there's a possibility of a train crossing, or you never know what can happen, right? You just want to be there early. Even if you're there early, just waiting in your car beforehand or walking around the company, right? Just give yourself time to interview. And then it's most common now for companies to have interviews online via Skype or Zoom, right? So you want to make sure you're still there early via whatever platform you're using. And then during your interview, you want to seem interested and alert, right? You don't want to be looking down at your phone or looking at your watch like, oh, what time is it? They're taking the time to meet with you. So the last thing they want is for you to not seem interested. And then, mentioned many times before, but connect your skills, your background, and your previous experiences to the job you're applying for. That is what the employer wants to see. How well do you connect that, and how well can your past experiences or skills connect you to this job so you could be successful in that position. And then if questions do come up about your previous work experiences or why you left a certain place, you never want to bash a past employer or past company. Always keep it positive. Companies like a positive environment, companies like positive people. So just remember that positivity is key. And then realistically present your qualities. So mentioned before, right? But you want to be honest. The last thing you want to do is lie to an employer and have them figure that out, that you were just lying about being an expert at Photoshop, right? When they're asking you, hey, can you take on this task? And it's all Photoshop and you have no clue where to start or how to get started. And then you want to ask about pay after you have a solid job offer. So in that first interview, you don't want to go into, oh, like how much is pay, right? Not until you get a solid offer. If they're asking for a second interview, that second interview might be the chance for you to talk more about the pay. And that is it for your interview. So we hope you're prepared. And then if you have any questions, feel free to contact the NMSI team. Thank you. And we'll see you at our next workshop series.